Oh, yo, what is good, everyone? Finally bringing y'all a how-to video for Tekken 8. In this case, I want to talk about how to properly utilize the heat system here. I've been seeing too many times now coming up in ranked with my Reina that people do not use the heat system to its full potential, which I understand there are just some elements that a lot of people are still learning in the game. However, I want to go ahead and get this out the way now and as early as possible so we don't start building bad habits, right? This game is a lot about evaluating yourself, breaking bad habits that you may or may not even know you had. And if I can help you discover that this may be a bad habit, then by all means we're gonna go ahead and get down into making sure that you properly know how to utilize the heat system. So I want to start off by showing how a lot of players tend to use the heat system. I chose Victor for a reason, all right? So just keep that in mind. And I've been seeing this used the wrong way. And if I see this, I will rolling death cradle you with my king for 3 rounds straight. I don't care. I want to help you guys start using this heat system properly. So this is what I've been seeing here 9 times out of 10, especially with Victor, right? Health is maybe low, right? And you need some pressure. You maybe have health, 25% health. And this is what I see. Immediately goes into heat, right? And then unseal below from heat smash. And you get that much damage, right? I don't want to see that. That is the wrong way to use the heat system. Is there a right way to use the heat system specifically? No, not really. However, there are also plenty of ways that you can use the heat system wrong. So that's a very, very wrong way of using the heat system, right? Or another example would be they'll do this, and then they'll go ahead and immediately try to go into forward pressure, right, with the heat dash, right? Again, I don't want to see that. You can do it. I'm not saying to not do it at all, but only do that if it's a very, very particular situation, because normally there are many other ways that you can use heat system better than what I just showed you, right? So what I just showed you are examples of the wrong way of using the heat system, in my opinion, right? Everyone's going to use the heat system differently, but as far as what I've discovered, that is the least efficient way to use the heat system. So I want to go ahead and show you how to properly use the heat system here, right? So, and what does that look like? First off, we have to remember the fact that when you get launched in a combo, you will have the recoverable health gauge, right? The white transparent bar, as you can see, that white bar there on Victor's health screen, that's the white bar. So now that white bar can get drastically larger depending on the combo and the situation, right? So that was a very, really, really small example, but you guys get the point of what recoverable health is. When you are in heat, you get that recoverable health back on a heat engager, that hits successfully, right? So not by going into manually, not doing that, and also look how much health, or not health, but how much heat you lose, right? It takes up almost, what, a quarter of your bar just to go into heat, rather than using a heat engager. You keep all that heat. You keep that quarter of a heat, right? So make sure we'll start off by focusing on utilizing your heat engagers and keeping that in the back of your head to make sure you see that opportunity when you see fit, right? So moving on to now as well, the benefits of using heat, right? And utilizing it properly is that when you have a lot of recoverable health, you can resort to your heat engagers to get that health back. Another great example is King. King has 4-2-1. His 4-2-1 is like by far one of the best whiff punishers in the game. Natural hitting string, and with King specifically, he can mix it up into a launching string, which goes 4-2 to down 1. So really tricky to deal with. Now, but however, if you block the third hit of the string, it is launch punishable, so it is a risky factor to play with that game. But going back into particular situation, if you are Victor, I don't play Victor, but if you are Victor, instead of you going into heat manually to build pressure and then immediately go into heat smash, which is not what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and one move that you can utilize, right? Let's say again, you have this much of recoverable health, right? This much of recoverable health to come back. Look at this move. That hit from like range 3. What? Like, that's pretty far, right? And what's crazy is that when that lands, notice your health bar. Oops. Notice the health bars. They flash green. So whatever health you get back is the health, or whatever recoverable health you have, that's more than likely a good, what, 3/4 of that recoverable health gets brought back to you. That's free health. That's free health. So use it, right? Use that system. Use the heat element in that, right? So it's a great way to turn the game around, because there's been moments with King where I had maybe 50% of recoverable health gone. And the thing with King's heat engagers is that they're dangerous. They are very dangerous. They're very, very dangerous, because they come from grabs. They come from unblockable grabs. Like his Jaguar Rush, I think it's called, or his Jaguar Dash into his grab, unbreakable high throw. That's a heat engager. His forward 2 is also a heat engager, and I feel like I should be using King to actually show you guys. Let's go to King real quick, and we're gonna show you how to properly use this heat system now. And really, that is I mean, that's as simple as it can be, is using your heat engagers to recover that health and that aspect of it, right? And there's going to be another element here. So with King, that's going to get that health back, and then as well, we know that his Jaguar Dash is going to get you, that's a heat engager. This is also a heat engager, and look at the damage! The damage! And then his grabs give him back some of the heat. So, but anyways, we're not talking about the heat system particularly for King. We're just talking about it in general, so that if someone misses and you have all that health to get back to, focus on your heat engagers, right? Focus on that. You want those heat engagers to recover that health. And then now, once you're in heat, guess what? You have a very, very scary element to you that you can use now. So as far as how you have to deal with a heat system, it all depends on the certain kind of character that you are dealing with. But in this case, right, you go ahead and use King. You know what you have now as far as when you are in heat? You have a free 1-button huge whiff punisher. Oh, look, and that breaks the floor. 1 button. 1 button. 1 button, guys. I just pressed that button for that damage. I hope you guys are starting to see now how we are able to utilize this heat system better, right? So now, right, so that's for the aspects of, okay, I need to recover health. You know, the round is in his favor. I'm in a tight spot, but I have a lot of recoverable health to get back, right? Focus on whiff punishments. Know what your heat engagers do and how to properly utilize them. Now, there are also other moments where you don't even need to use heat. Let's say the round is going perfectly for you, right? You have 75 and 80% health, and your opponent has maybe 30% health per se, right? So obviously, you are now in the realm where pokes and maybe a chain throw or, you know, a really, really solid low is gonna, you know, end the round. You can now, in that aspect, use the heat system to put even more pressure on your opponent to be like, oh, I gotta be scared now, because if I whiff, I'm dead, right? So it could be in a sense like, you know what, I am gonna go into heat manually. I'm gonna go ahead and chip some of your more damage, just put them in block, right? Because at that point, our opponent is gonna wanna block, right? So we're gonna do standing block, right? And your opponent has to eat that. Right? And that's gonna go ahead and put even more pressure on there. So as your heat starts to deplete, guess what? You have all this chance, and then as King, right? Again, as King, you get some of that heat back. So not only does your opponent have to be on its toes, you also have to break throws, so King does not keep going into heat. He gets all that back. And it's scary. It's really scary. And you could use heat in that aspect to keep the pressure on and chip away at that life, right? So with that being said, there are offensive ways and defensive ways to use the heat system. So all in all, it's a very, very simple aspect to grasp. Hard to implement in a real match because you need to know how to properly use those moves. And a better player is gonna know how to make sure they don't put themselves in that situation, so you do get that health back. They're probably gonna make sure they focus on getting your health as low as possible, or doing other moves to get rid of your recoverable health, right? So, and it's just more of a talking topic rather than a big in-depth of like, let me show you, because of the fact that all of the characters have those elements, right? It's just a matter of how you use them. So, in summary, what I don't want to be seeing, and what I highly advise you guys don't do, is using heat engager or your heat system just for free damage. This is not a free damage system, because if you want free damage, that's all you're gonna get, and you lost a whole health bar. So at that point, so I don't, you know, keep beating a dead horse, like, focus more on how to utilize and explore all the realms of your heat system and for your character specifically. And when you do that, you're gonna get a much bigger reward, and you're gonna stay in the fight a lot longer than what you've been already before. So you guys go ahead, if you guys have any more questions, because we're still learning this game, man. We're really still learning this game. If you have any more questions, I'll be more than happy to reply to your comments. And again, expect more how-to videos coming soon for sure. We have a lot to test out in this game. Other than that, I hope this video has helped. Y'all take care. I'll see y'all next time.